One of the strongest and most individual of French painters, a man replete with originality and fiery spirit, is Aimé Nicolas Morot. Morot was born at Nancy in 1850 and studied art under Cabanel. He won the Prix de Rome in 1873, and his first picture, exhibited at the Salon in 1876, obtained him his first medal. He was medalled again in 1877 and in 1879, and received the Medal of Honor in 1880 for the Good Samaritan, a powerful picture that the government purchased for the Luxembourg Museum. It is interesting to note concerning the Salon of 1880 that it was a particularly important year, with the three most talked about paintings being the great ambitious work by Jules Bastien-Lepage with his Joan of Arc, the sympathetic portrayal of the sufferings of Job by Leon Bonnat, and finally the stark realism of the Good Samaritan by Aimé Morot. These works were among the highlights and were to become a turning point for the generation that followed, as they projected a definite shift away from classicism and romanticism to naturalism fused with idealism and direct observation. Morot was also a much sought-after portrait artist. His paintings achieve a natural animation of his sitters, and in the picture of his father-in-law, Jean-Léon Gerome, we see a total command of his skills in that genre. He also painted portraits of his artist friends and his children. He became interested in sculpture later on, assisting Gérôme on occasion. In 1905, he worked on a memorial for Jean-Léon Gerome, which consisted of a group depicting Gérôme at work on his gladiator sculpture. This sculpture is exhibited in the Jardin du Louvre. At the same time, he was working on a portrait of his fellow painter, Ernest Hébert, for an exhibition at the Paris Salon, and was selected as a member of the jury for the next Salon in 1906. From a journey in Spain, he brought back a number of Spanish subjects, one of which, a scene at a bullfight, is now in the Corcoran Gallery at Washington. Aimé Morot has given a vivid account of that fateful fall of 1870. The main army of the French was shut up in Metz. The German army, far outnumbering them, was advancing rapidly. Marshal MacMahon, to check the German advance and cover the French retreat, charged the enemy at Reichshoffen. 30,000 French against 130,000 Germans were soon overcome. Yet the splendid courage of General MacMahon and the terrific onslaught of his men gained the enthusiastic admiration of the enemy as well as of France. Morot has put into his painting the fire and audacity of the French character. He has made one feel that fighting against odds was of little consequence when fighting for the French home. Even the horses partake of the spirit of their masters. The artist has given to the onrush a power like that of a sudden burst of wind, clouds sweeping everything in their path. Aimé Morot loved animals and travelled widely. In 1889 he went to Morocco in the company of the French novelist and naval officer Pierre Loti, where he produced several Orientalist drawings. In 1893 he went to India and also travelled to Turkey, Syria, and Ethiopia, where he refused to hunt elephants and lions. He later visited Niger and the French Sudan in 1900, where a lion hunt resulted in the painting of 1902 representing the event. The return from the hunt with a slain lion, transported to a riverbank by Africans, a painting now in the Museum of Fine Arts in Nancy. Turning to Morot's figure work, we find a recurring theme common to many painters of the period in his Temptation of St. Anthony, where a seductive woman leans upon the lap of the saint, testing his resolve to remain unyielding. As in other figure works by Morot, we find the same thoughtful use of light and tone accompanying sure draftsmanship. This also afforded the use of the nude in different guises, displaying the artist's prowess and skill with the figure. Aimé Morot was an influential artist in the art circles of Paris. In 1912 was awarded the distinction of Commander of the Légion d'honneur. Morot contributed to the Salon until 1913, where he exhibited a portrait of Monsieur Paul de Chanal. Morot built and lived in his second home outside Paris, near a coastal village in northeast Brittany. He continued working there until his death, after a lengthy illness, on the 12th of August, 1913. And finally, don't forget to check the link below for our special offer on our 12-volume, fully illustrated collector's set at one special price. Get 40% off the entire collection. So just click the link below for this special savings for your art library, and thank you.